Let's surgically dissect the phrase unlimited paid time off. In the modern American corporate lexicon, there is perhaps no phrase more cynically engineered, more beautifully deceptive. Just look at the language itself. Unlimited. A mathematical impossibility in a system dictated by finite quarterly earnings, rigid fiscal calendars, and the relentless grinding pressure of deliverables. You cannot have limitless rest in a machine that demands limitless output. And then we have the word perk. A sanitized, brightly colored stamp of approval placed over what is, in stark reality, a massive transfer of liability from the corporation's pristine balance sheet directly onto your fragile nervous system. Picture the exact moment. You are staring at the sterile, blank interface of your HR portal. The time-off drop-down menu pulses on the screen, mocking you. You desperately need a week to just breathe, to step away before your physical body folds under the pressure. But the moment your hand hovers over the mouse, the agonizing mental gymnastics begin. How many days did you take last month? Was it 2? Was it 3? If you take a full week now, will it flag you as a liability in the invisible, unwritten ledger of upper management? Will that promotion you've been bleeding for suddenly vanish because you showed a momentary lapse in your obsessive dedication? Your mind, which should be sharp, becomes a mess of crumpled ambition. It transforms into a ledger slowly filling with red ink, tallying up a debt you didn't even know you owed. You aren't just calculating vacation days anymore. You are frantically calculating your own expendability. You feel like a disposable, paper-thin memo, terrified that if you leave your desk for more than 48 hours, you'll be quietly filed away in the trash. So, you do what the system trained you to do. You compromise. You negotiate against your own biological limits. You shrink yourself down. You request a measly 3 days off instead of the 7 you actually need. Thursday, Friday, and Monday, a long weekend. And then comes the final humiliating defeat. As you pack your bags to finally escape, to feel the sun on your face, you carefully slip your heavy work laptop into your carry-on bag. Just in case. Just to clear out the inbox. Just so they know you are still useful, still pliable, still spinning dutifully in the machine. The irony is suffocating. You are spending thousands of dollars to sit in a beautiful place, only to hide in a hotel bathroom, drafting a response to a completely manufactured corporate emergency. Before we delve into the dark architecture of this trap, I want you to take a second and confess down in the comments. What is the most pathetic, boundary-shredding thing you've ever done while supposedly on vacation? Did you take a Zoom call from a hospital waiting room? Did you answer urgent memos during your anniversary dinner? Put it in writing down there, because you need to see exactly how many of us are trapped in the exact same filing cabinet. This agonizing ritual of begging for time that is supposedly yours is not a symptom of your poor time management. It is not a personal failure to set boundaries. You feel like your peace of mind is being slowly guillotined by the sheer weight of unspoken expectations, because that is exactly what the machine was built to do. The machine was not built to protect you. It was engineered entirely to protect the bottom line. To understand the profound psychological damage of unlimited paid time off, you have to strip away the warm, progressive marketing and look at the cold, hard accounting. In a traditional corporate structure, accrued vacation days are tangible assets. They are literal capital that you earn with every hour of your labor. More importantly, to the executives on the top floor, those accrued days represent a massive financial liability. It is a mounting, inescapable debt that sits heavily on a company's ledger. When an employee leaves, whether they are fired, laid off, or finally walk out the door in quiet desperation, the company is legally obligated to pay out that unused time. We are talking about billions of dollars in deferred compensation, quietly resting in the filing cabinets of corporate America. Then, a brilliant financial sleight of hand occurred. Someone in a boardroom realized that if you simply change the word accrued to unlimited, that towering liability instantly evaporates. By legally defining your rest as infinite, it ceases to exist as a measurable, earned asset. The debt is wiped completely clean. The financial liability is aggressively erased from the corporate balance sheet, and you the exhausted worker, are left holding nothing but a blank, unendorsed check. You traded a legally binding contract of rest for a vague, unenforceable promise. This is the grand societal gaslighting of the modern American workplace. The absolute brilliance of the grift is that they managed to package the complete stripping of a guaranteed benefit and sell it back to you as a luxury. They wrapped a ruthless corporate cost-cutting measure in the shiny foil of hustle culture empowerment and called it flexibility. But true flexibility requires a solid foundation to push off from. The corporate structure does not want a foundation. It does not want employees who resemble stiff, rigid cardboard, workers with firm, undeniable boundaries who know exactly how many days they are owed and when they intend to cash them in. The machine wants tissue paper. It wants a workforce that is impossibly thin, easily manipulated, and entirely translucent. It wants human material that can be pulled tight, stretched over long weekends, and folded into whatever shape the quarterly earnings report demands, all without offering any real resistance. When absolute policy is deliberately removed from an environment, it must be replaced by something else to maintain order and production. In the absence of a clear written rulebook, guilt becomes the governing mechanism. Guilt is the cheap, toxic carbon copy ink that bleeds down through every single level of management. It stains every one-on-one meeting, every performance review, and every hesitant request for a Friday off. You are told you have all the time in the world, yet you are acutely aware that taking a mere fraction of it marks you as a liability. You are fed directly into a heavy-duty paper shredder of contradictory expectations, where the very act of trying to preserve your own sanity feels like you are committing a silent, ungrateful crime against the company that supposedly set you free. Freedom, when weaponized, is the most effective prison ever constructed. To understand why this supposed liberation breaks us down so completely, we have to look through the cold, clinical lens of behavioral psychology. In the late 18th century, philosopher Jeremy Bentham designed a theoretical prison called the Panopticon, a concept famously dissected by Michel Foucault. In this architecture, a single guard tower stands in the center of a circular ring of illuminated cells. The brilliant sadistic catch is that the prisoners can never see inside the tower. They never know exactly when they are being watched. Because the threat of the gaze is constant but completely invisible, the physical guard is eventually no longer necessary. The prisoners simply begin to police themselves. Unlimited PTO is the modern corporate panopticon. Because the rules of your rest are deliberately left unwritten, the boundaries purposefully erased, you completely internalize the paranoid gaze of upper management. There is no boss aggressively stamping a big red denial on your vacation request. That would be too obvious. That would give you a piece of rigid cardboard to push back against. Instead, you become the ruthless warden of your own mind. You construct the invisible walls around your desk. You study the habits of your peers, terrified of taking one more day than the person sitting next to you. You are given the illusion of boundless flight, but you are nothing more than a fragile origami bird placed carefully inside a sealed glass jar, staring out at a sky you cannot touch. This relentless self-policing traps you in a brutal psychological vice grip known in clinical terms as the double bind. First articulated by anthropologist Gregory Bateson, a double bind occurs when an individual is subjected to two conflicting, inescapable demands. It is a rigged sociological game where every possible move guarantees a severe penalty. You are slammed back and forth between two margins of guilt, like a mind trapped in a heavy iron typewriter carriage, slamming left and right, over and over, until the ink ribbon wears completely thin. Let us look closely at your options. Option A. You actually take the time you desperately need. You log off for 2 full weeks. But the moment you return, you feel the subtle, unspoken shift in the office air. You are quietly passed over for a high-visibility project. Your peers roll their eyes at your extended absence. You suffer hidden career penalties because you dared to actually test the limits of an allegedly limitless perk. So, you pivot to option B. You stay firmly at your desk. You endure the slow, agonizing psychological process of ego depletion where your cognitive willpower is drained drop by drop. You grind yourself down into fine paper dust, only for HR to ultimately blame you for your own inevitable burnout. They look at your exhausted, trembling hands and ask, with perfectly practiced corporate confusion, why you didn't simply utilize their generous wellness policies. You are fed directly into the grinding gears of this double bind, where every choice you make leaves you systematically perforated. It is a meticulously designed state of toxic teleology, where the end goal of true rest is constantly moving, constantly just out of reach, ensuring that you never actually stop. To survive an environment that ensures you never actually stop, you inevitably search for an escape hatch. And right on cue, the predatory ecosystem of modern hustle culture slides a perfectly manicured distraction across your desk. You scroll through social media or listen to millionaire podcasters who insist that the problem is not the crushing weight of the corporate machine. The problem is your lack of optimization. They sell you heavy, leather-bound productivity planners, 90-day manifestation journals, and agonizing 5 a.m. discipline routines. They convince you that if you just wake up earlier, if you just time block your calendar with ruthless efficiency, you will somehow outrun the exhaustion. Their advice for navigating the unlimited vacation trap is always the same. Just delete your email app when you go to the beach. Just set a firm out-of-office auto-reply. Just silence the noise. This is nothing but aggressive, heavily monetized self-gaslighting. They shift the burden of survival entirely onto your shoulders, turning your systemic burnout into a personal character flaw. If you feel overwhelmed, it isn't because the company expects you to endlessly perform the jobs of 3 laid-off colleagues. It is because you simply did not guard your inner peace. Telling an exhausted worker to just unplug and practice mindfulness to survive the psychological warfare of unlimited paid time off is like asking them to meditate their way out of a burning building. You are attempting to apply a fragile, individual band-aid to a gaping, systemic wound. The entire architecture of your workplace is meticulously engineered to enforce guilt when you rest. The suffocating anxiety you feel when you step away from your desk is not a failure of your mindset. It is a highly rational, biological response to a corporate environment that actively threatens your livelihood if you dare to close your eyes. Then comes the ultimate, insulting paradox: corporate wellness. When upper management finally notices the sheer volume of hollowed-out employees dragging themselves through the fiscal year, they do not change the underlying structure. They do not mandate guaranteed, untouchable periods of rest. Instead, they mandate yoga in the break room. They send you to mandatory, company-sponsored mindfulness seminars to learn breathing exercises. It is a cynical, performative attempt to carefully rebind a spine that the company deliberately broke in the first place. You sit in these fluorescent-lit rooms, frantically trying to optimize your own peace of mind, believing that if you just try hard enough, you can reshape your exhaustion into something acceptable, something productive. This is the false origami of the modern workplace. You are taking a crumpled, tear-stained memo, your own exhausted psyche, and desperately trying to fold it into a perfect, symmetrical lotus flower. You carefully crease the edges, you smooth out the heavy wrinkles, you try to make yourself presentable, resilient, and utterly at peace. But it fundamentally does not matter how beautiful, how complex, or how perfectly aligned those delicate folds are. You are still taking that fragile paper flower and tossing it directly into a roaring industrial incinerator. You cannot outfold a heavy-duty paper shredder. No amount of morning journaling or corporate deep breathing will change the relentless nature of the steel blades waiting for you when you clock back in. The only way to survive the blades is to stop offering them your most vulnerable, easily shredded material. The paradigm shift you desperately need does not begin with an aesthetically pleasing morning routine or a newly purchased planner. It begins with a cold, unforgiving reclassification of your reality. You must look at the illusion of unlimited paid time off and call it exactly what it is: psychological wage theft. They successfully stole your legally binding contract of rest, and in its place, they handed you a weaponized guilt trip disguised as a progressive corporate benefit. To reclaim your autonomy, you must master the deeply uncomfortable, highly necessary art of radical underperformance. This is not about being lazy, and it is not about giving up. It is about clinically recalibrating your survival mechanics. You must immediately strip away the heavy, suffocating morality of deserving a break. You do not need to earn your time off by working yourself into a state of physical collapse. You do not need to justify your absence by proving how much you bled for the company in the previous fiscal quarter. Look closely at the physical, industrial architecture around you. A piece of heavy machinery does not deserve oil. It does not earn its maintenance by spinning faster and faster for the shareholders. It simply requires the heavy grease, because without it, the raw metal grinds against raw metal, throwing catastrophic sparks until the entire mechanism permanently seizes and breaks apart. You are the exact same. Time away from your desk is not a luxury awarded to the most obedient, quiet worker. It is the non-negotiable biological grease required to keep your mind and body from violently tearing themselves apart. You must schedule your absence aggressively, coldly, and without a single ounce of corporate apology. Stop trying to be a crisp, perfectly color-coded document, sitting quietly in a filing drawer, waiting for upper management to finally audit your worth. You will never be rewarded for how neatly you fold yourself under pressure. They will only demand that you fold yourself smaller, tighter, and thinner, until there is absolutely nothing left of your original shape. The ultimate act of rebellion in a corporate machine designed to flatten you is to simply unfold, spread out, take up space, let your rough edges catch in their perfectly oiled gears. Refuse to fit neatly inside the sterile manila envelope they handed you on your first day. If you are tired of being silently fed into the machine, and if you are ready to stop letting this system shred your identity, hit subscribe to The Paper Cog. We have a lot more to unfold together.